Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to the next Hot Stock panel. New month, new panel. And I've got a great panel today with us. It's going to be an awesome show today. Absolutely. If you can hear me loud and clear, by all means, please respond in the chat. Not only tell me if you can hear me, tell me where you're tuning in from. All right, let me know where you're chatting in from. We're both on YouTube and on Facebook, so all the Facebook people who are out there, chat in. I can see the chat. I can see the chat on YouTube as well. So we are dual streaming. Glad to have you all here. Thank you all for being here. All right, and again, Hot Stock panel, great group of guys today. Man, oh man, this is going to be pumped up. If you're brand new to the channel, by all means, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to when new videos, live or recorded, come out. The people that I have on the panel often post on YouTube and on Facebook, so support them as well. Support the whole team. Support the whole team. All right, if you're brand new, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Also, if you like the content, especially as we go along through this, hit the like button, folks. Hit the like button. And if you can, share this link to this live stream on your social circles. Say social circles 10 times fast. Social circles. Anyway, that's Joey. Say hi to Joey to everybody, too. Joey is my producer. These guys sit side saddle, make sure everything looks good to go. All right, couple of things I want to get across to you. First, again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. Hit the bell icon and hit the like button. But we have a new initiative here at VectorVest that we're trying to help the people who are less fortunate for the holidays. And my good friend Patrick France has taken up that initiative wholeheartedly. And he's got a video out to help us to grow not only the channel, but to help to donate in any way possible to help the young kids who are less fortunate for the Christmas holiday. So Joey's going to play a video real quick. And then we'll kick off.
The VectorVest YouTube channel. My name is Patrick France. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest, and I've been here for over 10 years. I am pleased to announce that I will be bringing a brand new event to the VectorVest YouTube channel. This event will be starting on November 9th and running until December 10th. Every Tuesday and Wednesday starting November 9th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, I will be live on the VectorVest YouTube channel where I will be doing some live trading, answering your guys' questions, maybe giving you guys some tips on how to enhance or better your own trading. Also, if you have questions about analyzing your own stocks, I would be glad to do that as well for you. During the next month, our goal is to raise as much money as possible to help kids less fortunate coming into the holiday season. So for every new subscriber that the VectorVest YouTube channel gets up until December 10th, VectorVest will make a donation on your behalf. So I can't do this without you, and I strongly urge you to come hang out every Tuesday and Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern as we try to grow awareness about this cause and really help make this whole holiday season brighter for kids that are less fortunate. Also, as a special bonus to you, every single live stream will be doing a random giveaway. But the kicker is, to be able to win, you have to be there with us live. So once again, I'm asking for your help to make this year's holiday season brighter for those less fortunate, and head on over to the stream for your chance to win some amazing prizes. So I look forward to seeing you guys there starting November 9th, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, right there on the VectorVest YouTube channel. And don't forget to tell all your friends, family, kids, grandparents, whoever it may be, make sure they're all there as well, because this is an event you won't want to miss out on. So thank you all for your time, and let's make this holiday season the best one yet.
All right. So, man, that is something that Patrick is really passionate about. He's taken the reins, and this charity event is to raise money for the less fortunate for the holidays. So, if you haven't already, I see a lot of likes come across Facebook. If you haven't hit the like button on the YouTube channel, by all means, folks, please do. I think that this is an awesome opportunity for us as an investment society to come together as a group and help those that are less fortunate. And I'm proud to see him as one of my colleagues really run with this, and I hope that we can all support him in this. So that was the way to get us started. Thank you for the likes coming across both on the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel. The next thing I want you to do is to support him. Watch his live streams. You will have an opportunity to help to support this effort. So with that, I wanted to get that done because I think it's important. I wanted to get it done early in the session. All right, next thing. Now, I'm going to bring up my panel real quick just so that you can see who they are. Of course, it's going to be me. I'm now showing you on the screen Dr. David Paul and Stan Heller, our managing directors both in the UK and Canada, respectively. They are going to be on our panel today, and I know a lot of you guys and gals are here to support them as well as the channel. So again, I think that this is going to be a great session today. I noticed that when I was looking at where everybody was from, I got somebody from Zimbabwe. Woo! That's probably the furthest apart. I mean, I got Ontario, I've got New York, I've got Texas, I've got from all over the place. Thank you guys for chatting in where you were from as well. But Zimbabwe, I think, is the farthest place that I have. The DMV, what is that? Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware, the DMV. There you go, Energy. I like that. Nice to see you here, Stan. How about that? Hi, Stan and David, just to let you guys know that people are reaching out to let you know that they appreciate you guys being here. And Darren says, go Zimbabwe. The Greek islands. I got somebody here from the Greek islands, Puerto Rico. In case you didn't know, I've got a stepmom who's from Puerto Rico, from Bayamón, Puerto Rico. And guess what? Yo hablo español. Más despacio, por favor, but I can speak a little bit of Spanish, and I can speak French for Stan. I can go, oh, parlez-vous français? Oh, comment allez-vous? Now, I don't know if UK, I can say pip pip chitty. I don't know, that's a rut. I can say that. So I can cover all of the aspects of where guys are all over the place. Nicaragua is here as well. All right. Let's get into it. So we always provide you seven stocks on our hot stock panel. I will have 2, David Paul will have 3, and Stan Heller will have 2 to round out the 7 stocks. And guess what? Since Stan is here, he's going to be giving you stocks from our Canadian database. So all you Canadians that are out there, guess what? We got you covered today as far as the hottest penny stocks between $1 and $10. All right, and that's what we're going to do. So let's get into the software, Joey, and we're going to start off with my 2 picks. All right, my 2 picks. By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Glenn Tompkins, senior instructor here at VectorVest. I've been with VectorVest now for 17 years. And I've done a lot of those years teaching people how to utilize the VectorVest software to make money in the market. So that's what I do. And so let's go with my first 2 picks. The first 2 picks that I've got to here today. Remember, all of these stocks are between $1 and $10. This is specifically for those people who are looking for the lower dollar stocks. Maybe you don't have a lot of money in the market, so this will help you. Or number 2, if you do have a lot of money in the market, you should have a portion of your portfolio used for a little bit more of the speculative, a small portion, utilizing the lower dollar stocks to help grow your portfolios as well. All right, so these stocks are sorted by our master indicator, VST. So the stocks that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing will automatically migrate to the top of the list, and the ones that have the worst will be at the bottom. Notice, though, on the VectorVest scaling between 0 and 2, all the stocks that we picked today were stocks that have VSTs above 1. And that's a crucial part in looking for low dollar stocks that have upside potential. A lot of times people will talk about low dollar stocks, and they are just not really good stocks. So I love that the panel came up with good stocks for you guys to take advantage of. Gives you a little bit more confidence that these are not only lower dollar stocks, but they have great potential instead of being a pump and dump type stocks. None of these, in my estimation, are pump and dump type stocks. So my 2 stocks are EVC and DOGZ. I'm going to go through the analyzation. Is that a real word, Stan? Analyzation? Or did I just make that up?
It's a great word.
Okay, it's a good word. I just wanted to make sure. All right. So real quick, let's take you through the VectorVest evaluation. We give a value on every company. It's the intrinsic value on every company. And currently the stock's price is trading below its value. VectorVest mantra is to have you in safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in stock in a rising market. So let's look at our key indicators like relative value, relative safety, relative timing, and VST. All of these indicators are cast on a scale between 0 and 2, where above 1 is favorable. So relative value looks at a stock's long-term upside potential, its ability to outperform the market over the next 1 to 3 years. And what we use for the market is AAA corporate bonds. When you buy a bond, it matures. After it matures, you get all of your money back with a little interest. All right? So that's what we're using to segment out the market. the market. EVC on that scale for relative value between 0 and 2 is at 1.72. EVC should outperform the AAA corporate bond by 72% over the next 1 to 3 years. Low dollar stock, undervalued, great upside potential. Relative safety is an indicator of risk. Relative safety looks at the stock's ability to continue to beat or exceed its earnings expectations. The higher above 1 it is, the more likely the company will meet or exceed its earnings expectations. And understanding, earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. We want to see those above 1. RT tells me if the stock is in an uptrend or not. Above 1, the higher above 1 it is, the faster in an uptrend it is. So when we look at analyzing VectorVest stocks, we're one of the only companies out there that use fundamental analysis, but with the insight of technical analysis. RT is our technical indicator. And when we look at all three together, we put them on that scale between 0 to 2 on VST. This stock, all of these stocks are good stocks in our universe of over 9,000 stocks. Stocks earnings at 46 cents, growing their earnings at a clip of 43% a year. Now, if you don't know what EVC does, I can very quickly right-click on the stock, view a stock analysis, and I can get some pertinent information. 1, what is the company? Intravision Communications engages in the provision of media and marketed solutions and data analytics services. It operates through the following segments: television, radio, and digital media. While we all know that media is hot and heavy. Why? Because everybody wants to know what's going on, whether it's on the television, whether it's on the radio, or online. Online is probably the biggest segment of what this company does. All right, stock is up 1.24% today, but I wanted to give you an understanding behind what the company does and why it looks so good. My next stock is Dogness International, DOGZ, trading at $4.16 with a value of $4.06. The stock is in this case is considered to be fairly valued. All right, a little bit overvalued, but more fairly valued. Upside potential. This stock should outperform a AAA corporate bond by 21%. Now, it's not as safe, so this becomes more of an aggressive play. It's got good upside potential, but we're going to give up a little bit of safety to get that upside. But the stock is in an uptrend right now. It's got an earnings of 20 cents, growing its earnings at a clip of 27% a year. So, real quick, we're going to right-click, view the full stock analysis report on it. And folks, if you ever want to get analysis on a stock that you own, if you go to www.vectorvest.com/free, you can get a free stock analysis on any stock that we track emailed directly to you. Now, Dogness, on the other hand, is down a little bit today. I still like the stock. Here's the stock graph. Here's the industry graph. And look at over the last 3 months, look at what the industry is doing. Good, googly, muggly. If an industry is rising, then most likely the stocks within the industry are pushing it higher. Dogness engages in the design and manufacture of pet products. Everybody's got a pet. Begrudgingly, I've got a cat. It's my wife's cat. I picked it out, but it's my wife's cat, including leashes and smart products. Its products include leashes, lanyards, ribbons, collars, harness, ornaments, and specialty products for cats and dogs. So that's a hot stock because a lot of, and think about it, coming into the holiday season, you're going to get stuff for your dogs and your cats and blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's go look at these stocks on a graph. I've given you a basic analysis of the stocks. I think altogether, the stocks are really good. From a VST perspective, all of the stocks that we're looking at here in the American side are all buy recommendations. The other three are David's picks. He'll be coming up in a moment. All right, let's take a look at these graphs real quick. View the stock graph. Wow, that's why I like EVC. That's it in a nutshell. Stock's going from the bottom left to the top right. It's got a beautiful line of support. I'm using the trend line as support. The 3 and the 8 will give you ample opportunity to get in, get out. Look at that bounce off of this trend line each and every time. Most recently broke through a level of resistance sitting at $8.07. Broke through, followed through, more followed through, a new 3-month high sitting at $8.59. Volume is starting to fall off a little bit. Keep your eyes on that. The stock's price is going up. Maybe not as many people involved in it, but I think that as long as the stock can stay above that trend line, you're going to be good. When is a good time to get in? While today's high is sitting at $8.66, I would think you would put in a buy stop order 5 cents higher than the high. Historically, just looking, the stock is running up higher. You want to make sure you buy in as the stock is moving higher. So I would go 5 cents higher than the high, broke through resistance in new territory of a new high. RT looks good on the stock as well. I have my support and resistance just definitely going up. Before I move on to my next stock, before I look at my next stock, let's go see who or if David and Stan have any insights on the stock as well. So there you go. We'll start with you first, David, and then we'll go to Stan.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I really like the stock, Glenn. As you know, it was actually on my list as well. So the shares breaking 52-week high. Earnings per share is growing strongly. The relative safety is reasonable on a scale between 0 and 2. It would seem to be getting better because they haven't sort of missed an earnings target in the last 4 quarters. So it looks as if they're coming right very nicely indeed. If you look at the up days on the chart, you can see the up days on the chart. The big up days on the chart are accompanied by big volume, and that's always a good sign. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it pull back a little bit before it goes again. Normally when they break a 52-week high, they pull back a little bit and then have a go again. But that would be a share that I would have no problem putting my own money into at all. All the overhead resistance is gone, so I think that's got a high probability, and that's all we can say in this line of work, of moving significantly higher.
Yeah, and Glenn, it's Stan here, and hello everyone. Great to see so many of you from our Q&A, and really our international online forum folks as well. So great to see you all here. We'll be back together with everyone on November 6th. David will be with us again for the international online forum. But as far as Glenn's stocks, EVC and dogs, I like them both. They're both momentum plays, and the momentum is quite strong, but it seems to be quite orderly. As a lot of you know, I like that EMA squeeze layout, and the 5, 8, 13 EMA moving averages are fanning out beautifully on both stocks, and they're moving up in a very orderly fashion. So I like them both. I think you made a couple of really good choices, Glenn, and dogs have really got a soft spot for that. Just from the name and what they do. So I think it'd be a great one to get into. Absolutely.
All right, David, chime in on dogs. I like, again, the 3.8. I like that the stock recently hit a new high over the last 3 months. A little bit of a pullback today, but I like using 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. A little bit of could be a change in sentiment on this stock, but right now the 3 and 8 are still positive. Earnings still looks good. Volume is pretty steady. RT is steadying out as well, but I like this. Just as Stan said, dogs is I think that's a stock that affects people personally more so than just a stock, because there's a lot of people who are pet owners.
I think that, Glenn, if you look at the price and volume relationships, when the market made a new high, it gapped up. It would seem to have gapped up there on big volume. And then we had 3 days of a pullback. And if you note, that pullback happened on falling volume. And that's telling me that there's little or no enthusiasm for the pullback. So
Good.
if you see prices rising and rising volume, that's good. If you see prices falling on falling volume, that's also good. And you see the little red day, the third day down there. There's hardly any volume in it at all, apart from a few rats and mice. Now, if you actually took the time to look in that particular red day, I can pretty much guarantee, if you're looking at a half-hour chart, that the volume would dry up completely within that half hour. A lot of people say it's large volume that drives the price, but in fact it's zero volume that causes the price to turn. Because if you can see that bottle of water I've got in my hand here, if that was selling for £1, you wouldn't pay a fiver for it or £5 for it. But if the supply at £1, in fact, went away, and you were thirsty, you might pay £1.10 for it. I'm speaking from England, folks. So before the price of anything can go up, the supply at the lower level has to disappear. And what happened in that red day is that the supply disappeared. Anybody who wanted to buy it, in fact, had no choice but to pay more for it. And that's a leading indicator of change. So that chart looks very good to me. After the bottom was beat out, we had quite a positive outside day, and they like to pull back to your averages. So it looks fine to me. It looks fine to me. I tend to, as we'll see in my selection in a moment, I tend to use longer moving averages to define the trend, and then I look at price and volume to get myself on board based on the techniques that a fellow called Richard Wyckoff wrote about maybe 120 years ago.
Well, and you know what the cool thing about this? 3 different people, 3 different trading styles. And I think that somewhere in here, the information given by all 3 people can add to what you guys can personally do out there. Couple of things. Pause is another ETF for pets. I agree with you on that, John. And someone said they like my haircut. Joey said I had to get a haircut because my hair was out of control. And then someone says, nice haircut, I wish I had hair. All righty then, I got nothing to do with that. I got nothing. And the both guys that I'm with today are in that field as well. They're in that space as well.
Yes, all this talk about hair intimidates me, Glenn.
Okay. All right. This stuff works. 7 picks from last month, up over 10%, 5% more than the VVC. Well, listen, that's what we have these hot stock panels for, folks, to bring to the attention what you guys have access to. All right, so those are my picks. I'm going to close this out, and I'm now going to bring up David. Once again, David, tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get into your picks, my friend.
Well, I'm David Paul. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK. I have been for the last 10, 11 years now. And I've been trading markets. I put on my first trade in October 1982. So it's a while. And I started to trade. I started to try to keep the fundamentals under control, but I failed. So for the first couple of decades of trading, I traded pretty much just purely technically, and I did fine. And then as a customer, I tripped over VectorVest about 11 or 12 years ago, and I found this tool that would do the fundamentals for me. And since that, as Glenn said a moment ago, the VectorVest Edge has done 2 things. One, it's increased my hit rate. But more important than that, it's actually increased the risk to reward ratio. A number of amount of money I make when I'm right divided by the amount I lose when I'm wrong. And those two things together are what profitability and consistency is all about. So that's me in a nutshell. I trade the UK market. I have a long-term portfolio in the South African market, which I don't do much with. I trade the UK market, and I have half a dozen positions in the US market, which are leverage positions, which I speak about in videos that I do a couple of times a week that VectorVest send out. So that's me. I have three particular stocks. As I say, I really like the look of EVC, and I would have no problems putting my own money into EVC. I think it looks an outstanding opportunity. The first one that I'm going to look at is Pay2 Exploration, which is an oil exploration stock. The oil price is off a little bit today after a tremendous run, and I think it'll find support relatively quickly. As you can see, it's trading at a price of $8, and VectorVest believes it's worth $11. So that's the first tick.
Real quick, David, you have control, so you can move around.
All right. Okay. So it's significantly undervalued. It's up a little bit today, and the oil market is in fact down a bit today. So that's showing good relative strength. The relative value, which as Glenn mentioned a second ago, is the share price appreciation potential in relation to a AAA rated corporate bond. And at 1.65 on a scale between 0 and 2, that's above excellent. It is what I call, Glenn, in the UK, bloody marvellous. That's a really, really good number. Relative safety, not so great. And clearly, an oil company, we had the COVID bust in oil where you had to pay to actually give it away. Clearly, that's caused the relative safety to fall through the floor. The relative safety less than 1. So this would be classed as an aggressive pick, folks. RT, which measures the short-term trend, is at 1.83. And when we put those three numbers together into the master indicator, it's got, I think, the highest VST, and those 5 at 1.54. To the right of VST, folks, is the comfort index. And I always refer in my writing to the comfort index as VectorVest's secret weapon, because it measures the long-term trend or the resilience to a downtrend on a scale between 0 and 2. That 1.86 is an outstanding number. It's on a buy recommendation, and we feel it's going to grow earnings at 42% next year, which is a hell of a clip. And as you can see, the future PE, price to earnings ratio, is 6, so it's very cheap as well. And the growth to PE is a whopping 6.90. So there's a great deal of scope in that particular share. The next stock is Crescent Point. And Crescent Point, another oil stock, and it's trading at $4.8. We believe it's worth $7. Off a little bit today, and we'll see in the chart it's actually at support. The relative value is 1.63. Again, a bloody marvelous number. Relative safety on the low side, and again the short-term trend RT and the long-term trend, saying that both the short-term trend and the long-term trend are incredibly positive. We believe it's going to grow earnings at 40% next year. And I think that if the oil price doesn't have to go up much, if the oil price stays pretty much around these levels, which I think it will, then both these companies are going to make a heap of money. It's on a forward PE of 4.29, and that growth to PE is 9.3. So two speculative stocks that I think have got a great deal of future. Now, the third stock is Uranium Energy. And at the moment in the UK, we have a global warming summit up in Glasgow a city that needs a bit of warming, I can tell you it's a cold place. So it's in fact trading above the VectorVest valuation. So this one's quite speculative, but I like the chart. It's up a bit today. In fact, it's up 7% today, and it's just broken out of a really nice formation. As you know, both there's a great deal of emphasis on uranium. Now, I know that I lived in South Africa for most of my life, so I know the commodity market really well. Uranium had probably the worst time of all the commodities over the last 10 to 15 years. It's on a 10 to 15 year bear market. So I think that this trend in uranium has just started. There'll be lots of ups and downs in the trend, but I think it just started. And as you can see, the short-term trend couldn't be higher on a scale between 0 and 2. Is that 2? And the CI is the long-term trend at 1.61. So both the short-term trend and the long-term trend are firing. And from a very low base, this share should grow earnings at 26% next year. So those are the 3 shares that I've got. And Glenn, if we could actually pull up the charts on those, sir, then I can
I got you.
try and have a look at those for us.
Let me put up your setup.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. That's my setup. We're all different people, and I use the moving averages, folks, to define a trend. And then once I've found a trend, I look at price and volume, but mostly price relationships to actually try and define an entry point. Where the 2150, it's 21E, 55E and 89E, and we talked about hair a moment ago. I've been using those since when I started to use those, I had hair. Let's put it like that. So where they crossed, and I was told this by an old fella. He's in the Market Wizards book, in fact, the first Market Wizards book. He told me that where those 3 moving averages cross, he called that a bow tie. And he worked, he wasn't on the floor of New York Stock Exchange. He'd retired, he was upstairs, he ran a trading firm. So, and I found that when my trades are in sync with the 21, 55, and 89, they all tend to go well. If I'm betting against the 21, 55, and 89, then my batting average and my risk to reward ratio goes down significantly. So if you can put those 3 things at your back, you get very lucky indeed. And the other thing, of course, which is this forecast earnings per share, which really, if that's at your back, folks, that pushes your hit rate up considerably as well. And I think, as old Ben Graham, Buffett's mentor, says that earnings per share growth is the engine that drives the share price. And I haven't worked on Wall Street, but I've worked in London, I've worked on the trading floors in Johannesburg, and the short list of shares that the traders have to trade with, they're there because the fundamental analysts believe that those companies are going to make more money next year than it did this year. It's as simple as that. Glenn, could we move up to a yearly view there, sir?
There you go.
Okay, now, if you have a look at this chart, you can see that from that high across to there, the market went down and then reversed. Okay, now that may upset you, but it is my experience that the best trades set up after the majority of the participants have been nailed. And that's exactly what happened here. This market went right down through those lows. Glenn, I don't know if you've got the controls. Could you draw a trend line across those tops, please, sir? Yeah, that's it. From that top right across, under the next low, and then take it across. That's fine. I'm a great fan of traders of yesteryear, folks. And if William Delbert Gann from Lifkin, Tennessee was here, he would call that little bit down there lost motion. And both Gann 100 years ago and Wyckoff wrote about that. And all the stops would have been underneath that low. It came right down, nailed all the liquidity, and then it flies up. Mr. Wyckoff called that a spring. Now, I think we've got another one of these at the moment. If you could draw a line, a horizontal line from that top, Glenn, I would be in your debt.
You want me to draw it from here to where?
Just horizontal, right across to the end. Yeah, that's it. And what happened? Thank you. What has happened is the market came down to that line. It went up, couldn't get above there, ran out of buyers, and went down there in search of liquidity. Now it's going again. And frequently, and this is why I put them on, there's something magic about this area between the 21 and the 55. I call that area the zone. Markets like to find support in there. So we've got this confluence of the zone and those old lows. And I think that this is on its way. As you can see, earnings per share is growing strongly. And if you could just click the valuation icon on VectorVest there for a second, Glenn, we can see that there's the value. And the value seems to be moving away from the price. So we've got an undervalued stock that's growing earnings very strongly indeed. It's in the throes of a strong trend. Both the short-term trend and the long-term trend are up. And it's pulled back and nailed quite a few participants twice. And the relative safety is low. So therefore, it's not for everybody. It's not for sort of orphans and your school money. It's a long way from Jim Penna's retirement type stocks, but it looks to me as if that's got legs. Okay. So that's the first one.
All right, let's analyze. Stan, what do you think?
Well, I really like that stock an awful lot. In fact, it was on my short list as well on the Canadian side. It's a new buy on the Canadian side, a fairly recent new buy, and so I really like it a lot. I like David's setup with the moving averages. It really clearly shows the trend, and I tend to use the 5, 8, and 13 for the EMA squeeze. But this shows a squeeze of the 3 moving averages and a breakout from there. So, very easy to see the momentum after the sort of consolidation in there, or the compression. So I like it a lot. And as David pointed out, the earnings really showing strength, and that's true for a lot of our petroleum stocks. I'm a big believer in sector analysis and industry group analysis, and this petroleum sector has just been on fire, and the earnings and value of a lot of these stocks are moving up, and we got to find the best ones to take advantage, and I think David's found a good one here.
I like that it's in a hot industry. I like that moving average convergence, the bow tie. And even after that, the stock's still been moving up. Here's that zone that David talked about, along with that level of support. But this is the killer right here, earnings. Earnings are what drives the stock's price higher, and it's undervalued, which means that the stock has got a high potential to rise up to that value, which is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, David, here's your second stock, my friend.
Well, this is also an old stock, and this, in fact, was suggested by one of our customers out in Oxford. And Stan, we have we have 2 Steves out in Oxford, and this young man, we've nicknamed him Steve RT40 because he uses the RT40 indicator, the 40-day average of the RT. This is Crescent Point, folks, and as you can see, it's growing earnings strongly from a very low base, there's no doubt. Just remember, March 2020, you had to pay somebody to take the oil away, okay? So it's been trending up. We got the bow tie just here. See, there's the bow tie just there. And it's significantly undervalued. And if you could go back to that 1 year layout, please.
There you go.
As you can see, Glenn, could you draw a trend line along those tops, sir? And just to there. And as you can see, it's broken those tops. And professional traders, folks, on a trading desk would rather die than chase the stock. So they always come back.
Amen to that.
Yeah, so they would rather die. The desk head would shout at you in language that would make a Marine sergeant blush, Glenn, if you chased a stock.
That can never happen to us Marines. Nothing makes us blush.
I assure you, you haven't seen some of the desk heads that work for me. So this thing has pulled back and kissed that. But very importantly, a day or two ago, the little sod went down and nailed all the stops and then reversed. And to me, this is being bid underneath this level. Now, you don't have to be brave and buy that level. But ladies and gentlemen, if you get an entry, and it's on a buy recommendation at the moment, if you get an entry point and you look back and you see that a big part of the community have been, in fact, stopped out prior to your entry, then to me, that's a prerequisite of a good trade. I like to see lots and lots of people nailed before I get on board. See what happened down at that low? See how the market went down and took those lows out? That's what Mr. Gann would have called lost motion, just there, just down there. That one was against the trend. I wouldn't have taken that. But this is a pullback to the two old highs, and it's come back on that particular day. If you can see it, maybe blow it up a little bit now, Glenn, if you wouldn't mind, sir. So I'm giving you vertical. You can see that on that day, it came down and took out an awful lot of stops along this level. It's trading sideways and what technicians would refer to as a flag pattern. So for those of you that want to wait, maybe wait for a break up, a close above that fairly obvious trend line there. I think that'd be a good entry point. But that entry, which is preceded, and again, I'm not sure whether that's a real word, Glenn, or whether I made it up. But
no, that's a real word. Unlike mine, that's a real word.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story, they say. So that if we close above that descending trend line, that would be a very strong confirmation that this thing is on its way. So that's another oil stock, and I can't make up my mind which one of the two I like best. So I'll leave it to those of you watching. Maybe put a little bit into each.
Stan, what do you think? I'll put it back on a year.
Yeah, so well, Crescent Point is a very familiar stock here in Alberta, headquartered in Calgary, and so certainly know this stock well. This was a $40 stock before the oil crisis kind of hit our petroleum stocks here in Alberta. So it has lots of upside. It got down as low as I believe around $2 and has moved up from there. I really like the sort of the cup formation that we're seeing there with a fairly lengthy handle. I love the way David has drawn the wedge on there. And, you know, if it breaks out now from that compression or consolidation above that little flag or wedge, that could be a very good entry point. And earnings per share rising. You know, petroleum again leading sector in Canada stocks and as well as the U.S. So this is one that's interlisted as well as Peyto, and yeah, I think it's going to be a great buy, especially when it gets breaks above that little wedge that you've drawn there.
Interesting. As a pattern, the upside potential, David, and correct me if I'm wrong, should be between this low and this high. That's the flagpole, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
So
that's
the upside is, I'm not doing the math behind it, but should be from this low to this high, should be the amount that the stock should retrace back up. So I think this stock's got some good upside if it breaks out of that trend line. Earnings looks good, undervalued, lower dollar stock. Folks, this is the stuff right here. And before David gets into his next stock, I'm going to ask a question. How many of you feel that this stuff is useful to you? I'm putting that out to the new people out there. Type a 1 in the room. And if you are already on board with doing stuff like this on your own, type a 2 in the room. But for the people who are new or people who we're introducing some new techniques to, tell me if you're finding this useful. Type a 1 in the room. And again, if you guys are already doing this kind of stuff, type a 2. I'd like to see. Because we are trying. There we go. I've got a mixture of 1s and 2s. I'm just putting that out there for both you, Stan, and David. I got a lot more 1s though, so I'm loving what you guys are bringing to the table, because it looks like VV Nation out there is letting me know more people than not that they're finding this stuff useful, especially possibly with new techniques that they're not even using. So thank you guys for that. And wait till Stan comes up too. He's going to bring more to the table. But this was just a way of seeing where you guys were sitting. Who types a 3, Jay? I'm putting you in timeout. I'm going to put you in timeout with all of these people in here. I'm going to show you. I'm putting you in timeout right now. No more typing for you. So there. All right. Now let's get to your third stock, David. I'm going to put you down to your third stock. Here we go.
Go. Okay. Well, this is a speculative counter. I like uranium stocks at the moment, and uranium stocks have done well on the sector viewer on VectorVest, which I just look on the front page. The growth fundamentals are good, but as you can see, the share has in fact just come recently from losing money to making money. I know the uranium sector well. The gentleman who runs this company has been in charge of it for the last 17 years, and he's a very good man. As you can see, we've got that bow tie. But what I really like about this particular stock is the textbook cup and handle pattern that we see, where we've got this rounded cup and that handle. Now, the handle has broken, folks. I broke up through the high just here where Glenn has drawn the line. So that's the cup, that's the handle, and the darn thing has come back and tested it. If you could bring the line up to where you had it previously, Glenn, thank you. And you can see that it broke that level, it broke out, it came back and kissed it, and now it's moved up. And I've been looking at this for the last couple of days, and it's moved up quite strongly today. It is very speculative, though. One of the things that I've found exceptionally useful, I wonder if Stan has found the same, is this step function in earnings per share. And when you get the step function up in earnings per share, that invariably precedes a really, really good move. And similarly, when you get a step down in earnings per share, then you want to be fleet of foot. So I like the sector. I think it's very topical at the moment in the light of what's going on up in Glasgow. And it looks to me as if that's broken. And the target would be from the line that Glenn has drawn in down to the low and add it to the breakout. So that would seem to have got legs. The trends are good, both the short-term trend and the long-term trend is good. But it is trading above the VectorVest valuation. It has just moved from a loss-making position to a profitable position. I believe that the move in uranium has just started after a 10 to 15-year bear market in the product. So that's the third one, the most speculative of the lot.
Stan?
Yeah, I really like it as well. I also had some uranium stocks on my radar for this panel discussion as well, mostly because with the industry moving up so nicely. It's definitely a nice sector and industry group to be in right at the moment, and this one looks very, very good. I like the fact the value is rising quite strongly at the moment, along with the earnings. The chart setup looks good. It's a fairly recent new buy. Got the new buy and then actually pulled back right to your moving average and took off from there. So I like it. Not a lot of overhead resistance right now, and I think you've picked another winner for everyone.
All right. So I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you know why uranium is moving the way it is right now? And it's all right if you don't. And this is just a tidbit of more information.
Yeah, I'm sure you know, Glenn, and you're going to share it with us, but with energy so much in focus, and moving away from sort of the carbon energies, I think uranium has that appeal.
Absolutely. So
it's the move away from coal, yeah, without a doubt.
right.
Especially coal.
So
Yeah.
there's an interesting dichotomy there. I just did a story last week on Trending Thursday that coal is picking up because it is being used for clean energy. Interesting. Bad, dirty coal, but being pushed towards clean electricity. The main reason why uranium is going up right now is because across the globe, 50 plus new nuclear power plants are either being built or in the process of being built, whereas uranium is going to play a major role in here. So
Yeah, sure.
Clean energy, taking away from the coal, nuclear energy is clean energy, right? Except for if it goes bad, that's just real bad. That's the other side of it. But that is the reason why, for the most part, or part of the reason, I should say, that's part of the reason why uranium is hot right now, because globally, I think that we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint, and nuclear energy is the way to go for clean energy, and uranium is going to play a big role. That's just a tidbit of information, just to put that out there, whether you knew it or not. And it was fun for me to put y'all on the spot for a second. That's all I would. That's the host's opportunity to just do that because I can. All right, but now everybody knows. What moves uranium? Trucks, Jay. What moves uranium? Trucks. Really good trucks. All right, so that takes care of David. Thank you for your stocks, and I think that whole uranium, petroleum, those are hot stocks. Those are hot industries and hot sectors. And I think pulling stocks from those sectors and industries was right on point. All right, let me close out of this real quick. And now, Stan, for you, we're going to go into the Canadian product.
Awesome.
All right. I gotta find it. Is that it? Nope, no, that wasn't it.
Not yet. Yeah, you really like
it?
to pick
There
on
it
us.
is.
I mean, we had a 5-minute discussion on hair and lack of hair, and then you put us then you put us on the spot about what drives uranium prices. My goodness.
And just so that you know, someone to say you is good. I think anything in the uranium space right now are good plays.
Yeah, Cameco in Canada.
Cameco is a really good one too. Yeah,
really strong. That was certainly on my list, except it's a little bit over $10.
Oh, that's true. Okay. All right, Stan.
Hey, well, listen, my
yourself.
screen is up. I guess I'm up next.
Yeah,
Glenn,
you introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Stan Heller. I'm a consultant for VectorVest Canada. I host the International Online Forum just about every month, not every month, but just about every month. We go again on Saturday, November 6th, and we're really pleased to have Dr. Paul with us again to give us a market review on US and UK, and he always looks at some stocks and setups. It always makes it interesting. Our guest speaker is Dr. Ed Subak from Florida. who's going to give us a review of the performance of the thematic ETFs. And so that's a very popular topic with our International Forum audience. Always drives a huge turnout because Dr. Subak was really on the leading edge with regard to thematic ETFs. So I love to do that. In terms of myself, I'm in Lethbridge, Alberta. I'm a retired healthcare administrator and university administrator. I've been investing pretty much my whole working career. I consider myself a long-term investor. Glenn, I still hold several DRIPs, dividend reinvestment stocks from when I first started investing on monthly programs, I guess. But the market has kind of moved me on to and working with VectorVest now for really I've been a subscriber since 2003, and I've been teaching since about 2010 or 11 with VectorVest. And so I've moved into the swing trading aspect of it, and I love that. I love technical analysis. I created the Mastering Moving Averages course. I see so many of our students and graduates of the Mastering Moving Average course online with us today, so that's great. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I love the VectorVest product for the reasons that I'll share with you again as we go through my stocks. So with that, I'll maybe go ahead and have a look at these. You'll notice up at the top, Bitfarms is right at the top of my list, and you might think that's a bit of an odd choice for a kind of a conservative to prudent investor. But what I have found over the last 3 to 4 years is that you've got to at least be aware of the cryptocurrency and take advantage of it when it's there for you. And of course, in VectorVest, we can analyze the stocks that are involved in crypto, and Bitfarms is one that we have in our program. I really like it a lot. It allows us to participate in the cryptocurrency volatility, I guess, taking advantage of those times when it's moving up. And we can see from the recommendation of buy that Bitfarms is moving up right now. The relative timing is 1.83, that very smart, fast technical indicator. And yet the comfort index is a very lofty 1.61 as well. Having a good day today, 4.91, and it still is undervalued, and value is rising as we look at the graph. When I'm looking at penny stocks, I'm really looking at mostly at the graph and the relative value in terms of the growth rate, the future value of the stock. And that tends to be a good swing trading opportunity when you have a high relative value, high growth rate. And so Bitfarms meets that criteria very nicely. Earnings per share, 0.66, nothing really to write home about, but again, it really is a technical play for me, a momentum type of stock. Now, Black Diamond, on the other hand, Black Diamond, you could play it as a swing trade. You could play it for long-term investing. It's been around a lot longer than Bitfarms and has a really tremendous track record. And actually, Glenn, if we can go and right-click on it and just go to the full stock analysis report, I'll give you an idea of what the Black Diamond does and maybe why it's doing so well. They just had their earnings come out yesterday, and they just had a tremendous earnings report. Sorry, if we go to, you can just type in BDI up there for the symbol. This is this description for Bitfarms, and you can see it. It is a currency network of Bitcoin, so it gives you that exposure to the currency. But Black Diamond engages in renting and selling space, rental and modular workforce accommodation. And so with petroleum back sort of really growing again, it's setting up a lot of camps, doing all of that. It sets up modular space, sort of mobile space for construction, education, military, healthcare, but oil and gas has really been driving their revenues and earnings of late. So you can see on the graph that the stock is outperforming the industry group in the business services leasing. So it's outperforming its peers as well as some sort of sector comparatives as well. What I really like when I come to the full stock analysis report, and I really recommend you look at it when you buy a stock or get ready to sell a stock, BDI is undervalued, has about average safety, and it's currently rated to buy. And that really fits so well with VectorVest's philosophy of buying undervalued stocks that are safe and rising in price. You can't get a buy rating unless your stock is rising in price. So this meets all three, criteria that I look for. So I really like that aspect of it. So we can close out of that, and we'll have a quick look at the graphs, and then I'll prepare to take your criticisms. Hopefully there won't be any. So let's look at the graphs. I think we've got my layout set up, and I did put on the EMA squeeze layout. And actually, Glenn, if we just take off the price for a minute. So this is how I found Bitfarm. It was through an EMA squeeze search that I run. You can take the price off, just uncheck it. Just be a little bit easier to see the now we can see the EMA squeeze, and it's just really fanning out. It also showed up on my new buy search. So it's a new buy rated stock, a little bit of a cup here as well, and a breakout from there. So I like that part. You can put the price back on again. And so there is a little bit of overhead resistance that you can see up here. But I think based on that earnings report, it has a very good chance and probability of doing well. Actually, it was the earnings back here that was fairly decent on it as well. So what I really like is the 40 moving average of relative timing moving up fairly nicely here. The 5-day moving average of relative timing is just hit a higher high here, or higher low, I should say, right here. And so that's a nice strong indication that there's some room to run with this stock as well. And earnings per share rising, so they had a fairly decent earnings. Didn't really show up in the price here, but I like the space that it's in. And for someone looking to sort of participate in the cryptocurrency, I think this is a nice alternative for people to consider.
David?
Well, based on my 100-year-old chart reading, there's two things in the chart that look really good, Stan. The first thing is that old Mr. Gann always used to say that markets break on the fourth attempt, and is just about to try and break on the fourth attempt. So Gann would always bet big if he saw a market pushing on the fourth time. But probably more important than that is the double bottom on the chart. Now, if you could draw a line, Glenn, from, yeah, you got it, sir.
I love that we can all think on the same wavelength.
So that what I've found, and many of people have found as well, but what I've found is that double bottoms, the classic way in Edwards and McGee of a double bottom as a reversal pattern, in fact, doesn't work that well. But if you see a thrust, and as you can see, the price moved up very strongly, and then it traded a double bottom, that's much, much more predictive, should I say. So I really like that double bottom after the thrust up. And the thrust is right to the left of the chart. It moved up very strongly and then moved into that double bottom. And to me, it looks as if that wants to break very strongly, Stan. So we've got that double bottom, which has still got a lot of oomph in it. And we've got just about to break in the fourth attempt. Without a doubt, it'll go up, pull all the weak hands in and then come back again to try and stop them out. So I would, in fact, if I was trading it, I would wait for a break and a kiss there. But that's just me. I don't chase them. I've been shouted at too often for chasing. So, so it looks wonderful to me.
Awesome.
It's in a good space, talk about crypto. You remember, and I'm going to ask the both of y'all, you remember when you used to say crypto and people would laugh at you? You said crypto, whatever. Crypto is becoming a mainstream. Influencers are pushing it. I've done stories on Trending Thursdays that retirement money is being put into crypto. And then someone said, are you going to use crypto as a hedge or would you go with gold? I still would go with gold as a hedge, more so than crypto. I don't think crypto is out of space where I would go over gold to hedge my portfolio with crypto more so than gold. That's just my opinion. But interesting, as David said, it's getting ready to a fourth attempt. I like the trend line after the double bottom, after that second bottom. Nice looking trend line. After the first hit to the bottom, that wasn't there. It's definitely there now. I like that your moving averages. Oh, by the way, Mark Norton told me to tell Stan to ask Glenn about the guppy. Don't ask me about the guppy. I just putting out. Don't ask me about the guppy. Mark sent me some stuff a while ago about explaining the guppy. That's why he did that. But I wanted you to know that Mark Norton said, hey, Stan, ask Glenn about the guppy. Don't ask Glenn about the guppy. But nonetheless, I love that the moving averages right here are all in sync, just like buy in sync. You get it? Oh, yeah, I don't have crickets on here. I don't have the crickets on here. Anyway, 2 good up days, breaking through that level that David said. Uptrend. I like your moving averages of RT and RT, earnings, volume. David likes volume. We know why, because volume is conviction.
The volume is good there, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like this pick. You know something? It was in a big channel, and now it's breaking. So a couple of things. You got the fourth attempt and breaking out of the channel. I think that it's if I would go to Navy, it would go anchors away, my gal, anchors. I'm thinking it's ready to go. I don't like the Navy, even though we're a part of the Navy as a Marine. So anyway, there's your first pick. I like it.
Hey, well, Glenn, that's great. And David, thank you. I think you've identified just even some more reasons why this is a stock that really needs to go on everyone's watch list and get ready to go. I like buying them fairly soon after a new buy rating, and it's breaking up through that channel. I think it'll be great. Actually, for Mark and others, if you put the guppy layout on here, it's the short-term traders are leading the long-term investors. So we've got 6 moving averages representing the short-term traders and 6 that represent the long-term investors. And this fits very well with the guppy. So there you go.
All right.
Guppy was one of the strategies I taught with Jerry D'Ambrosio in the Mastering Moving Averages course.
Awesome.
And I thank everyone for the comments that came in about the course. Looks like a lot of people really did get a great value out of it.
Awesome.
All right, so we can move on.
There you go.
So there's Black Diamond, and once again, I found this in a couple of ways. It was through a new buy search and also the EMA squeeze. So you can see the squeeze here at the bottom, and then the 3 moving averages started to fan out. We got above the 50-day moving average. So it was really in a good place even back here. And it's still in a good place. It's still rising very nicely. So I really like this layout. You can see the cup formation again with the handle here and the breakout from there. Once you start looking for cup with handles, you really spot them in a lot of charts, particularly in the markets that we've been in. They're showing up quite often and getting good breakouts here. So I like this one for that all those reasons. If you put a 5-year weekly on, Glenn, it's also interesting because there's more history with this one than the Bitcoin. But once again, lengthy cup, breakout from the cup, pulled back right to the 50, which is often the case, and then we're off to the races once again. The earnings was just yesterday, and they had blowout earnings, 164% revenue gain from the comparative quarter. Just a real blowout on the earnings. It also is in a rising industry group. I run a search every day on the 10-day RT Delta on industries, and this is in that category. So it also showed up there in a strong industry group, and again, not surprising, leasing, rentals. That's appealing to a lot of people right now. The 40-day moving average of RT, I just love when we're sort of rising from a lower point back here, and we're gaining momentum. We're well above 1. The 5-day moving average came back, sort of a rounded bottom here, and then an explosion to the upside, or a thrust to the upside. So all looking very good. So volume doesn't look like huge volume here, but I think if you go back to a 6-month or 3-month, you'll see that the volume is actually picking up largely because of the earnings and heading into earnings. Oftentimes when you see a pretty good sign that you might have a decent earnings report. So there's a lot of reasons why I like this stock. Again, I do like to catch them early. I haven't actually been looking for a penny stock to add to my portfolio. I've got a few on the petroleum side. So this is kind of a petroleum stock in that they service the petroleum industry, among others. But the new buy right here, I mean, if you're new to VectorVest, you just got to love these new buys. You buy one day after the new buy, or 3 days when price pulls above the day, the closing price of the day you got the new buy, and you're in a good place. You put probability on your side. So I like this one. I think it's a stock you could go out and buy right now. It had the squeeze or consolidation again here, and it's moving up pretty nice. So there it is.
All right, David.
Well, yeah, the trend is there, but you can see quite easily over the last week or two that on up days it was moving up on a rising volume. And then if you look at those 3 or 4 days, those 3 red days about a few days ago, no, further on, the pullback off the high.
Yeah, right in here.
Yeah, the pullback off the high, and you can see there on those 3 red days, volume dries up completely, and that's as sure as you can get that thing's going to move. If you see the price rising and rising volume, and then pulling back and falling volume, and then we get that, you see the hammer candle pattern there? And that was a pretty good, that was going to break. So that looks quite definitive. The trend is there. And to me, the price and volume, the reason the share price went up was that there was no sellers. And anybody who wanted to buy the darn thing had to pay more for it. As simple as that. So the other thing which is really good on it, if we could go back to the 5-year chart, please, the weekly over 5 years that we had up a second ago. The RT40 and all momentum indicators have got some really, really good leading characteristics. And the RT40, because it's measuring a 40-day cycle, is an exceptionally strong leading characteristic. I do a course for VectorVest called the Midas Swing Trading with the Midas Touch, and we use this a lot. So what I would like you to do, and I haven't got my mouse running, but if you could draw, Glenn, a trend line.
Actually, you now have control.
That's very kind. From that low to that low. Can you draw a trend line from there to there, sir? Yeah, that's it. All right. And I want you to draw a trend line from that low to that bottom. Okay. And I'm sure Steve in Oxford is smiling now if he's watching us. This is what we discuss frequently. What's happened here is that the price has made a rising bottom, but the indicator has made a falling bottom. And that's a divergence that's not commonly known. It's called reverse divergence. And it is a leading indicator of a fast move. In fact, some technical analysts refer to it as a slingshot for that reason, as of the stone coming out of the slingshot. So that's a very, very powerful signal that there's going to be a change in direction. And that signal now has been, in fact, confirmed, as far as I'm concerned, on the day chart by the pullback and falling volume. It's saying that nobody wants to sell. Nobody wants to sell this share out there, apart from the rats and mice. So, but I particularly like that reverse divergence. It just hit me straight in between the eyes when you pulled that chart up, Stan. I don't know the stock at all.
Very, very clear on the weekly, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I'm actually more brilliant than I thought I was.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short, Stan. You are brilliant.
Yeah.
You are brilliant.
That look from both those standpoints, on the 3-month chart and on the 5-year chart, it looks as if it's going places, that's for sure. Old-fashioned technical analysts would refer to that as a huge inverted head and shoulders reversal, which would have a trend line from there to that point. You
can draw it. It's there. You can draw it.
Okay, like that.
I'll make it darker though.
Okay. So the old-fashioned fellows would do that, and they would say the target is from that low, from there down. Oh bollocks! From there.
You can't say that. Yeah, I'm gonna take the freehand line off. Okay.
Okay. From that low to that high, and that would be the target. And that's a huge target in that stock. It really is. That inverted head and shoulders reversal would be very self-fulfilling. There would be many, many technical analysts at large institutional trading floors making that calculation as to the target on that particular share. So lots of things going for it. And it looks as if it's well on its way with a huge target. So anybody who gets in on a little bit of a pullback, I would personally, and this is me, many times I miss them, a pullback to the trend line, and then it should run, and that would mean that you need a very small stop loss in relation to the reward. And the only way that I've really been able to make money over the years is by maximizing that risk to reward ratio. You want to be risking £1 to make £4 or £5. And it looks to me as if that's got the makings of doing that, Stan. So yes, you're much brighter than you think you are. So, okay.
I would just say I would take a little bit of a different approach just on the buy side, because I think I would put in a buy and stop limit order just a little bit above where it's at. But my experience, when you had such strong earnings, that oftentimes there's quite a good carryover on interest in the stock, and so I think it's got the potential to go higher. And you could definitely put your stop, fairly tight below, not too tight, but maybe somewhere right around that 2 candles earlier, right at the top of that candle would be a good stop, and just protect yourself that way. But I think if it's rising tomorrow, this one has, because of the strong earnings, has a really good potential to carry on.
Yeah, I frequently miss them. There's no doubt about that. I'm
Yeah,
looking for pullback.
you're putting the emphasis on risk, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's what they call in the London trading force a dick for a tick. always, try,
Alrighty then.
always,
Oh
always,
boy.
always trying to get in at a good level, and the best ones don't come back at all, unfortunately. So, but that was the way I was schooled as a youngster in this. That you never chase them, you bid it. And at the best possible level. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, then just move to the next one. That's how I was schooled in it. So and that's what I've been doing for many years.
So you know what I like about this stock? I like this stock from a long-term perspective. Let's say you're looking for a low-dollar stock to stay in for the long term. All right, you got the squeeze. In this longer moving average, what moving average is that, Stan?
That's the 50. So
you know something? When it breaks through, it's time to get out. I like that long term. But you know what it did right here? It gave you the testicular fortitude to stick this stock out right here. Yes, David, I had to put that out there. All right? To stick in it right there and look at that stock take off, because you could have gotten nervous right there. All three crossed, but it stayed above that 50, and you were rewarded with that. You didn't say it yet, David, so I had to.
There's a $1 royalty every time you use that.
All right. That's
I
all
can't
of our
get
stock.
away without at least one or two references from our subscribers to our Q&A on Tuesdays to the testicular fortitude. They always say, as Dr. Paul would say.
Awesome. All right. Let me close out of this. Somebody said, well, there's no stock symbol for BDI, Mark, because that's in Canada. This was in the Canadian database. Because Stan was here from Canada, we opened up the Canadian database, and that's why you don't see it in the VectorVest US. All right, so I wanted to put that out there. All right, so now, man, that was a great something to do. When I say something to do, it was a great hot stock panel. Love everybody's picks. Stan, real quick, what's going on for you this Saturday?
This Saturday is that international online forum. We have people from every country in VectorVest and beyond attending. It's broadcast live on YouTube. You can go to VectorVest views and look in the upcoming webcasts and click on the link, or just go to our VectorVest YouTube channel and you'll see. You can put a reminder to yourself. It's Saturday. It's at 11 o'clock Eastern. Now, David just mentioned today that they've already had their time change. So it's 4 o'clock, or it used to be 4 o'clock London. It'll be 3 o'clock in the UK for this Saturday. And really thrilled to have Dr. Ed Sue back again, giving us an update on the thematic ETFs. There's so many terrific new thematic ETFs, and his way of analyzing them, I think our members find very, very compelling.
All right. Real quick, Ninja says Black Diamond is BDIMF in the U.S., although has very low volume in the U.S. Well, you know, in Canada, it's moving. So for all of you guys that are Canadian, that's a good stock on the Canadian side. It may not be for you on the U.S. side, but it's all good. All right, Stan specifically brought to the table Canadian stocks. Somebody else, real quick, for the both of you guys out there, who is that? Where was it? Oh, Chad Garvin said 3 VectorVest legends right there. I just want you guys to know that they put all 3 of us in the category of being legends. I ain't a legend. I'm just a guy. I will put Stan and David over me as legends in what they do for their countries. I think is amazing. I'm just a guy. I facilitate stuff. But Stan is awesome. Dr. David Paul is awesome. And I love what they bring to the table. So I thank them for being here. Real quick, if you haven't already, if you like what you saw today, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, please do. Remember, this is going to push towards what Patrick is looking for getting us donations for lesser fortunate children out there. So by all means, please hit the subscribe button to go towards that. Last but not least, Tampa is coming up. Tampa 2 Day in Tampa. Dr. David Paul will be there along with myself. I will be there as well. And real quick, I wanted to bring up what we'll talk about in the Tampa 2 Day. All right, day one. And so as of right now, folks, we are going live. All right, we are going live. How many of you are happy about that? Type a 1 in the room. That's all. I ain't even putting a 2. How many of you are happy that as of right now that we're going live in Tampa? All right, and how many of you got a 2? Well, Jay, I'm putting you out there. And number 2, type a 2 if you're trying to go live. Type a 2 in the room if you're trying to go live. So if you're happy that we're meeting live, type a 1. Type a 2 if you're trying to be there live as well. All right, so I'm just curious to know. All right, so when it comes to that, we will have live in person that you see here. And then we will also have a live stream. For those of you who cannot be there live, we will have a live stream. So we're going to accommodate everybody. For those of you who will be there live, here's a link. Joey's putting a link in the chat. It's going to be January 6th through the 10th. 6? That's more than 2 days. It says for January 6th through 10th. Anyway, we're going to be there, I believe it's the 8th and the 9th. Stan, Stan or David, can you back me up on that? I think it's the 8th and the 9th.
I've been told it's the 8th and 9th.
It is the 8th and the 9th. Yeah. All right. So if you go to the link, though, you can sign up for your rooms there. Nobody on Facebook is going. Or nobody on Facebook cares. All right, fine. I don't care. I care, but I don't care. All right. Anyway.
I see some 2s.
I got some 2s. I'm looking at Facebook. Did you guys fall asleep? Hello? Bueller, is this thing on? All right. Is there a bar? Says JJ. I am so putting you in time. You go stand in the corner, Jay. Go stand in the corner. All right. Day 1, registration and continental breakfast. Welcome and course introduction. Actually, I will be starting us off with the VectorVest system of analyzing stocks. Then we'll have a break, timing the market, how to become a successful investor. Afternoon session, how to find the safest, most reliable stocks. You notice that as you look at this, how this all builds upon the prior talk, that when you walk away after the second day, you're going to be so well armed to effectively take on what's going on in the market in a much more confident way. How to build and manage a retirement portfolio. So we'll move from understanding what the software is all about, how to become a successful investor, to getting into safer stocks. We'll have a cocktail reception, and then we'll have, after the cocktail reception, a complete approach to short-term swing trading. Look at that. All right, day 2, we've got a continental breakfast as well. 9 o'clock, improving swing trading. So we're going to be going from the special presentation about swing trading. We'll have a talk about swing trading. Another one, swing trading with moving averages. Finding hot stocks for explosive profits, low cost precision swing. A lot of swing trading going on here. So, and then afternoon session, simple approach to trading for income. Practical application for your investment style. We'll put it all together for you. And then on day 2, we will adjourn at 3:30. All right, that's it in a nutshell, folks. That's it. And I want to say thank you. Thank you to all you guys for being here. Thank you for my panel today. Outstanding stocks that you picked. Good commentary on the stocks that you picked. And again, before we go, if you haven't hit the subscribe button to the channel, please do so. If you felt that this information was useful to you, that you can walk away and start utilizing it right away, make sure you hit the like button. How many likes do we have, Joey? 156. We got a good amount of likes. Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you, David. Thank you, Stan. That was awesome. We need to do this more often with the managing directors. I like this. I
Len,
like
thank you. You do such a great job. I'll echo some of the comments that I see in the chat about the amazing job you do, and you make it fun while we're learning. So thank you for all of that.
That's for
Listen, my goal is if I can get you to smile, that makes you a little less tense. And if you're a little bit less tense, you'll take in a lot more than you think when you're comfortable, as opposed to just being, well, this is the guppy, and this is what we do, and this is the bow tie. And if you do it that way, you guys will be sitting there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's unbelievable. And you'll fall asleep. I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that you guys are on the edge of your seats at all time. Right, Joey? Say right, Joey?
Right, Joey.
There you go. All right. With that, folks, we're out of here. Thank you. Stay tuned. Make sure that as long as you hit the bell icon, you'll be alerted to when our next Hot Stock panel will be next month. We do it once a month. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for being here. Until the next time, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time, folks, see ya.